Well, hello. I'm in the old farm countryside, which is a lovely Spanish, lovely. Oh, I've got to turn the speakers off as well. Boom, that's better. Which is a lovely Spanish farm. I haven't got a data capture card. I mean, a video capture card, so it's all a bit clunky. But we're going to give it a go. See how we get on. I'm on New Farmer. I'm just going to go into the menu and set things up. Um, We're going to call it Twitch stream. Seems sensible. Auto save is off. Real time. Economic difficulty is going to be normal. Traffic is off. Seasonal growth. I think I'm going to turn that off because you have to wait for ages for things to happen. And I think if you're streaming, you probably need stuff to happen whenever. So we'll turn that off. 1 day per month, which is cool. Fixed visual month. I think we're going to have to go yes on that because it would be weird if I was planting stuff and it was snowing. So let's make it May. Let's make it June. I think for that reason we'll turn snow off because it would be odd if it snowed in June. Crop destruction I'm going to turn off because I don't want occasionally driving over things to damage it. Ploughing on. Field stone off. Don't like stones. Weeds on. Don't like weeds, but they're fun. Dirt is normal. Automatic engine start is definitely off. Stop and go braking, I don't really know what that is, so we'll leave it on. Trailer fill limit means that if you have a wacky trailer that you can massively overfill, it will allow you to overfill it, which we like. Low fuel usage, why not? And I'm going to turn the AI worker's ability to buy stuff off because I like to stock them up with everything that they need, particularly as I'll have a deposit of some sort that will take care of all of that. Okay, so that's good. So let's have a little look at our farm. This is our farm. This is where we start. We've got £100,000 in the bank, and we start with this farm, and it's got masses of kit, and we own these two fields, 42 and 43. And I suppose we ought to go and have a look and see what's in them, because if there's something in them that's worth harvesting, we ought to harvest it straight away. What I want to do is to sell them and buy 30, 32 and 31. These have both got maize in, which is not yet ripe, and this is a cultivated field. This is ready to harvest, and it contains, is this canola? No, lentils. And this one is chickpeas, both of which I think we can harvest just with a regular combine harvester. So I think the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to combine these two fields. So that's quite exciting, really, all things considered. I am going to sell all of my farm equipment, and whilst we're doing this, I'm going to be quietly combining stuff. Sorry, whilst I'm quietly combining stuff, I'm going to be selling stuff. Because I don't want the majority of the kit that I've been given. I mean, it's lovely kit to start with. This is going to do a very fine job. But actually, we can lease a combine or we can lease a big tractor, and we can generate a lot of revenue by selling stuff. But since we have things, we may as well deal with things. Now, I'm not entirely sure where these fields are, so I'm going to drive out of here. And I'm going to hang a big old right. This is one of the fields I want to buy. It's not my field at the moment. It's got nothing in it, so I'm going to drive across it. Very rude, but I'm sure I've got a good relationship with my neighbours. I'd be very surprised if I had a poor relationship with my neighbours. I'm going to unhook here. Sorry, I keep glancing across at my computer to make sure things are working. Things seem to be working. They feel like they're working. I've started this whole streaming thing about a dozen times and then had to delete everything and start again. So I'm really hoping this one works because it's beginning to get quite annoying. So here we go. Start the old beastie up. In we go. I don't think there is... I'm just going to stop for a second. Is there... Oh, there's proper straw here. Do I want straw? No, because I'm going to sell the fields. So I'm going to disable straw. And I'm going to just chop it all up. But it's yielding pretty well by the looks of things. Now I'm going to need a tractor and trailer to pick this up. I do like a John Deere. I'm sure it's powerful enough. We can actually check. You can go down to your little stable of things and look to see what you've got. So small tractors, I've got a New Holland. Medium tractors, I've got a New Holland and a John Deere. 175 horsepower, more than strong enough. And then I've got a big tractor. Well, it's worth a few bob. So when I sell it, that's going to be exciting. I'm going to grab the trailer here, which I like. It's a nice trailer. Ooh, didn't like that little video glitch. Again, when I have a direct video capture card installed, all of this is going to go much better. I'm running this through the Xbox app and using OBS Studio, which is a free bit of software. Let's have a little look from the cabin's point of view. I've turned the traffic off. I don't want to be bumping into people. Also, I want to drive on the left, even though I'm not in a part of the world where driving on the left is acceptable. It'll be very interesting to see how... Look at those stones on this field. I've turned field stone off, but this is covered in stones. That doesn't bode well for the future. Interesting to see how this combine is coping with this field. And one of the things I've done there is I've linked the tractor and the combine directly to each other. They're next to each other in the menu, which makes the whole process so much easier. It's one of those things that's worth thinking out, because I can scroll through each of my tractors one at a time. Ping, ping, ping. And if the combine and the tractor with the trailer on it are next to each other, that's a lot less disorientating than it might be. I'm about quarter full. What I'm going to do is do a bit of a headland, I think. Which means me actually driving the vehicle myself, which is really very tedious. At this point, I could be selling all my other tractors. Anyway, we might come back to that. So I'm doing this on an Xbox S. Is that the rubbishy one? I think the X is the knobby one. I've got the less knobby, the cheaper one. And of course, I'm anticipating Farming Simulator 25 coming out, which is completely different. When I say completely different, it's exactly the same, but just much better. It's coming out in November, and I shall pre-order it and download it and have a whoopee time. I will try and keep an eye on the chat stream, and you can join in. What I'm quite good at is answering questions based upon Key Stage 3 science. I'm quite good on Key Stage 3 science and, I don't know, the Democratic Party's National Congress, which I've watched lots of footage of this week. England's progress in the test match is reasonably good on that. I'm not very good on Twitch. I don't know anything about Twitch. I'm not very good on gaming. Don't know much about gaming. So, you know, I've got a limited range of skills, but you could ask me stuff anyway. And when I can spot it. The other thing I'm not very good at is seeing stuff. So when you post comments in the chat, I may or may not see them. It might be many weeks before I have my first person posting something in the chat. But I should be happily sitting here talking to myself nonetheless. It's rather pleasing. You can see on the bottom left hand corner that I'm leaving this sort of red trail behind. That red, I think in this occasion, is a measure of the yield. The greener it is, the better it is. The redder it is, the worse it is. It's rather lovely. It follows a sort of pH scale, which obviously I approve of hugely. What with it being very much a Key Stage 3 science topic, whereby when we're talking about the pH of the soil, red means acidic and green means, well, neutral or towards the more alkali end of the scale. And they use something similar for the other metrics: yield, nitrogen levels. Red is bad, green is good. Or at least red is low, green is high. It's not necessarily a question of it being good or bad. So I'm 56% full, so I'm just going to whip a strip or two off this bottom end. One of the things about the next version of this game that's going to be very good is the autonomy of the hired workers. They're going to be able to follow proper GPS lines, just like, you know, professional farmers do. So when the field is cut or sown or sprayed, it looks the same as it would look if it was done for real. The artificial intelligence, or AI, that goes along with this game is a bit limited. It's better than previous versions, but it's a bit limited, particularly on the Xbox. You can get something called course play on the PC, which allows you to do very sophisticated routes around a field. But on an Xbox, it's not so good. Which is why I like regularly shaped fields, because regularly shaped fields are much easier to set a worker on. And I like to set a worker on doing something so that I can crack on with something else. There comes a point where, you know, watching somebody just drive around a field and witter loses its appeal. I hope it doesn't completely lose its appeal, because it is what I'm planning on doing big time for quite a chunk of the foreseeable future. Well, until October the 7th or 8th, and then I'm going to be leaving where I am at the moment and going to somewhere with very, very slow broadband, so I won't be able to do this. I'm only going to be able to do this when I have decent broadband, basically when I'm here in France. I've just had fibre optic broadband put in, and it's mad. So the day I had fibre optic broadband put in, I woke up and I tested my broadband speed, and it was 6.5 megabits per second. And that was fine. I could watch YouTube, I could pick up my email, I could do all the things I wanted. But 6 is pretty poor, you know, when other people, you know, when I lived in Oxford, I had 35, 36, and there are people who got 60 or 70. Anyway, I had the fibre optics installed, and by the end of the day, I tested my upload and download speeds, and they were both 600 megabits per second. And as of today, I've restarted the box several times and done all sorts of diagnostic stuff. Today, essentially, I've got 900 megabits download and 900 megabits upload. So, if this looks bad on your computer, then it's not the broadband that's a problem. It's quite possibly my computer that's a problem, my technological setup. I'm using the Xbox app. My PC is really for music, not for gaming. I'm thinking of installing a PCIe video capture card. I've got 2 spare slots, and I hope they've got the right attachments. I'm slightly concerned, because it is primarily a music computer, so the slots are all busy being other things. Oh, here we go. Look, we're all full up. Oh, he's struggling a bit with this trailer, isn't he? Maybe I need to get maybe I need to get the big tractor. Maybe I need to get the big tractor. That's sad. Maybe I do. It's a big trailer. This is a 175 horsepower tractor. The tractors that we have on our farm in Wiltshire were built in 1969 and 1970, and they are beautiful things, but they're 25, 30 horsepower. We did harvests for years and years and years with them without batting an eyelid, and here I am with a 175 horsepower tractor going, no, not good enough. I'm going to get the biggest of the biggies. Biggest of the biggies is this fella here, isn't it? Oh, I better turn it off. Otherwise, Caleb would be very unhappy with me for burning fuel unnecessarily. I like to start the engines myself rather than have the engines start automatically when you log in. This is a big and powerful beast. Should we find out what stats are on it? It is 381 horsepower. It is ridiculously vast, but by the game's metrics, you know, and there are lots of tractors over 450 horsepower. It's not so big, but it ought to be able to pull a trailer full of grain, and I will be able to sell it in about an hour's time for quite a lot of money. And in fact, whilst the combine is doing its thing, combine, oh, went the wrong, oh, of course I'm not, I'm not now the next tractor, but we can fix that by selling all of these other tractors. Now that I mustn't sell them all, I'm going to sell this go-karty thing, which is all the way out here. So you do reset to, that resets it to the workshop, not the workshop so much, but the place where the tractors are bought and sold. I'm going to reset that. I'm going to reset that. I can't sell them all until I have. Oh, hang on. I'm just going to reset all of this equipment. When I say all of it, I don't mean quite all of it. I'm going to keep a few bits, but I can get rid of all of this. It's just junk. Then we've got some bits and bobs down here. I don't like this. This is a flat. Oh, that's diesel fuel tank. Doing well here. Let's pick this fella up. Let's reset it. What is this? Oh, we'll keep those two. We'll get rid of these. These are all weights. They're specific colours, so they're not necessarily useful. So I'm going to keep these two things, which are a pallet fork and a sort of bale grab. I'm going to keep this, which is a front end loader. I've sent the other front end loader to the shop, which I'm going to need to use in a moment. Things I want to buy include this here, which is a piggery, which is £67,336. I'm perhaps not going to buy it just yet. I'll buy it when I've sold a little bit of stuff. I mean, the best thing to sell is the combine, but the combine is busy at the moment. 47% full, and comfortably turning around at the end and heading back again. I'm going to load up this site with kit and sell it. Now, the reason for selling it here, if you don't know, is that you get slightly more money if you take it back to the dealership to sell it, rather than if you just sell it randomly. Now, somewhere there should be a front end loader. There it is. And I'm hoping it's going to fit this tractor, because it's quite a small front end loader. And the reason I want the front end loader is I've got to pick up this pistachio picking. Do I mean pistachio picking? Or possibly olive picking device. Anyway. This thing here, hopefully, is a front end loader that will fit onto this tractor. No, this tractor doesn't have front end loader attachment. I mean, oh yes it does. You see that sort of manoeuvre going on in farm workshops all the time. It's terrible, isn't it? But yeah, it's a game. It's a game, it's a game, it's a game, it's a game. It's not real life. Boink. And I'm also going to pick up this weight. And I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff at the same time. Ah, I've approached the weight from the wrong end. That always irritates me. All the other kit is delivered that way around, and the weights, I guess quite sensibly, are delivered this way, and this is now quite difficult. One thing I've never worked out is getting the sensitivity of the joystick just right. But I am just using a standard Xbox controller, so you know, it's tricky. Well, that isn't attaching that way around either. Oh, that's interesting. Because that is definitely the John Deere weight, which should go on the front, of course. But you should also be able to put it on the back. Let's try it from this. Let us try it from this side. Ah, this is all much scruffier than I was hoping it would be. No, it's just not having it. Anyway, okay, fair enough. I shall come back rather aggressively in a moment for it. I'm going to jump this and the front end loader just here. And I'm going to see if I can pick this weight up, because I'm getting a bit grumpy about it. Maybe I have to do it with my front end. That doesn't make any sense. You know, as a farmer's son, I would say that doesn't make any sense. No, nothing happening. And if I go around the other side, which is definitely the wrong side, it's definitely the wrong side to pick it up. We've nearly got to go back and sort out the... Nope, nothing is happening. What about... getting a bit obsessed with this now. What about, can I pick up this grey weight? Yeah, easy. And then I'll pick up this trailer and we'll get rid of the lot. I do not know what's going on there. There we go. Gosh, if only attaching kit was as easy as that. the bird knuckles that I've had, the damaged fingers. And let's whiz into this fella, and we'll grab some random. Oh, I tell you what we'll do. We'll grab this weight. Don't get me wrong. If somebody came to me and said, "I'd love you to have a nice New Holland T6," I would bite their arm off. I'd be thrilled. But when I'm playing fantasy farming, I'm not fantasy farming with a bunch of New Holland equipment. Combines are good. I'll give them that. Some of the stuff like balers and things like that are good. But I'm not having New Holland tractors. I just don't see the point in fantasizing and then being surrounded by that. Anyway, we can go in here and then we can sell stuff and we get preferential prices because we've gone to the trouble of bringing it to the factory. And now suddenly I've got £400,000, which is rather nice. Let's have a little look-see. Now here we go. This is a classic scenario. First of all, it's a classic scenario because the combines ended up in a weird place in the field for no obvious reason. Second, it's a classic scenario because in order to collect this grain, I've got to drive on the crop. Now I could refuse to drive on the crop on the grounds that it's unprofessional. Or I can just drive on the crop anyway, it doesn't really matter. And that's what I'm going to do. I feel bad about it, but I've turned crop destruction off so the crop doesn't get damaged. And there we go. I'm going to stay with this because I need to get the tractor out of the way once I've done this. You can see there's been some sort of problem there because there's a bit of unharvested ground. So this is a 39,000 litre trailer, I'm guessing, because it was about a third full when it had 13,000 litres in. I don't really know what 13,000 litres means. When I was hauling grain, we had two 4-ton trailers, and so what I could pull was potentially 4 tons of grain, which was a couple of hopper loads from the combine harvester. But this was in the late 80s, so you know it's a long time ago. I'm going to sort of let it carry on whilst I continue here. Now then, this is going to need to deal with everything else. Let's see if we can pick up this funny little thingamy here. It just doesn't want to be picked up, does it? What about from the other side? Which doesn't make any sense, surely, to pick it up from this side. Oh, maybe it's fallen over. Maybe that's the problem with it. Oh, do you know what? Maybe I need to reset it again. I'm going to get out of this tractor. And I'm going to try to reset that weight. If I can identify it. Let's reset it. Maybe I knocked it over and that's why I couldn't pick it up. But there it is. Surely it is yearning to be picked up. Oh, that's annoying. That whole opening sequence could have been so much slicker if I had been less of a twonk. Let's grab a trailer. And I'm going to park this in the little sell point and then come back for another trailer. I'm going to pop this trailer exactly here, and then I'm going to go around and grab another trailer. And this is a double axle trailer, So I'm definitely not going to try and reverse it. They are beautifully flexible. They are very hard to reverse. Single axles are relatively easy to reverse. I'm going to try reversing the next single axle in. I'm going to try and reverse it in beside that storage container and the previous trailer. This is the guy. I'm going to pick him up. This, I think, is for picking up stones, but because I've turned field stone off, that shouldn't be an issue. Although there did appear to be a lot of stones in one of the fields that I've bought, or not that I have bought, that I'm going to buy. And I should be a bit Grumpelstiltskin if it becomes covered in stones, because stones damage equipment, generally ruin the fun of things. So let's reverse this in, and on a good day I'm pretty good at this. I know how it works. Kind of have to steer the opposite way, which I've done obviously for real in a real tractor and is fun. It's very good. And I'm going to park myself down here. Then the only thing I'm going to smash into that. That's exciting. Then the only thing remaining to do is to grab this telehandler. Whoa! Make myself a little bit seasick with that. I mean, telehandlers are quite fun. You know, they can do all this amazing stuff. There we go, look, they can do all of this. Look at that. But anyway, I don't like them. I don't think I've ever really used one. I think probably it's because they are a thing that requires more skill than effort I'm prepared to put in. So I always find ways around using loaders. I use things called augers, which automatically sort your stuff. Right, I'm going to just go ping, and then I'm going to sell. Okay, I'm up to 628,000. So what I'm just going to do with that piece of information is that I'm going to buy this little plot here. And how much is this? This is 244,000. I can't remember whether it's got, oh yes, it's got a growing crop in it. So it would make some sense to buy it now, because then I can start to treat that crop, because that is one of the things, is that it will be a poorly managed crop. So I'm going to buy it, and then I'm going to buy soil information rather than test it. I'm going to just buy the information, and we're going to see that the pH value is not great. There's no nitrogen, so I'm going to have to hire a sprayer in order to sort out the nitrogen situation. Whilst I'm here, I'm going to save, because I'm quite pleased with the progress I've made so far. I've got some money in the bank. I've got some crops coming in. Let's have a little look what's going on here. There we are. Of course, one of the things is now that I've only got a tractor and a combine, so they are quite intimately linked. I need to clear up this remaining bit of material. There we go. What are we harvesting? I think it's chickpeas, isn't it? That's not quite going according to plan. Chickpeas, of course, very good source of protein, very good source of fibre. a bit quiet. That will never do. There we go. I think that's the field pretty much done. I'm going to pull the old doodad out. Oh, and pop those chickpeas into there. I may already have some chickpeas in storage. We can have a little look at that. This is how you do that. These are your prices, and it's also what you've got stored already. I'm going to change the storage system that I have because I haven't got any chickpeas. I've got quite a lot of other stuff, all of which I'm going to sell, because all I want to do is generate revenue in order to make alterations to the farm. Now then, the next thing to do is now to whiz over to the field of lentils. Let's have a quick look here to see where the lentils are. So that's where I am, and the lentils are there. So we drive up to this. That green thing there is where I've marked something. I accidentally pressed the letter Y, which means mark this block. It's really useful when you've got to travel around a big map. I never do big maps, I always do little maps. Hang about. 41 is not me, 41 is somebody else. I am, oh crikey, driving around with this front end on. It's quite tricky. Well, this is quite a nice little area. Yeah, so that's my field. Straight ahead. It's a slightly more normal shaped field. So I am going to try and cut it relatively normally. I'm going to go around the outside. And this is whatever it is. It's not chickpeas. It's something else. Cashew nuts or something. I did a practice live stream a few days ago on my other Twitch channel, my secret Twitch channel. And I sat down about this time in the evening and I farmed away for about 20 minutes and then I fell asleep. And I switched the stream off 3 hours later. And so the video that was captured and was saved to my other account is 20 minutes of me farming and wittering away, and then it coming on to rain at the farm that I was farming on, which, you know, hampered what I could do, and then me falling asleep and sleeping for 2.5 hours. So I live streamed myself sleeping, but fortunately nobody saw it because I would have been hard to find at that time. I mean, now it says, you know, I am live streaming Farming Simulator. So if some kind of nerd like me suddenly thinks, you know what I want to do? I want to watch somebody else playing Farming Simulator because it's such a stressful game to play, and I'd rather sit and watch someone else play it than play it myself. But in the event that that happens, you know, they'll be here, they'll see me in action. Whereas before, there was no information. Right. I am collecting this. Do you think this looks more like chickpeas than the last thing? Maybe the last thing wasn't chickpeas. It was some kind of a pulse. Now, is it going to be able to turn around of its own accord? It might be able to. Right, I'm going to go and tip these on the farm. Funnily enough, that light there is quite helpful. It's a little beacon guiding me home. And I think because I keep driving over this field, that maybe I should, in fact, buy this field. It is £93,000. I should buy it. You should know see my money diminishing quite rapidly in the top right hand corner because I've got workers. I've got a worker. So this is my field. It's got weeds growing. I'm probably going to plough it. So we don't need to worry about weeds. We do need to worry about those stones a little bit, which I'm not happy about. Maybe when I restart the game in the future, those stones will disappear. But I won't be happy if there are stones permanently in this field. I may even have to de-stone it, even though stones are not a part of the game as I've set it up. Now this is my storage facility, and I'm going to tip. Oh, I'm going to tip lentils, that's what I'm going to tip. So it's chickpeas that I'm harvesting at the moment, those are lentils. It's always good to know these things. And that's going to add to my quite substantial stores of stuff that I already have. There we go. Well, I say substantial stores. I have some things. This was the thing that I'd selected, which of course is a silo that I don't really want. One of the things that I'm going to do in due course is get rid of stuff that I don't want, like this silo, for example, which I can sell and get another £20,000 for. Yeah? And that's going to free me up some space. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to get rid of all the things that I don't want. I don't want this, I don't want this. The problem with getting rid of this is that these weird bits and bobs that are attached, you don't get rid of. Let me watch this. Sell. Okay, and they just sort of hover there in empty space, so they have to be dealt with at a later date. It's one of the many trials and tribulations that I suffer from. Chickpeas are coming in. Well done to chickpeas. And I need to go and collect those chickpeas. And then I'm going to get rid of this tractor. And I'm going to get rid of the combine. So that's some serious loot. And I can use that initially for a bit of rental. I'm going to lease some kit. Those tanks are they're going to be replaced by a universal supply store, which is deeply unrealistic. But on the other hand, it's a bit of fun because you can just get hold of anything you want whenever you want to, which is quite handy. You just want to crack on and enjoy the game. You need a bit of feed, or you need a bit of wheat, you need a bit of protein or something. You can just go and grab it. Now I think, call me old-fashioned, but given that this is my first ever live stream, when this field is finished, I am going to call it a day. Even though there's masses to do, I've chosen to wear this hat, some kind of a costume, and the problem with it is that it's excruciatingly tight, and it's caused me to have a great deal of head pain. So I think in the future I will maybe wear a hat, although I've got headphones on, so it doesn't work terribly well. But it will not be this hat. As lovely as it is, and it's very special to me for any number of reasons. But this hat is squeezing my head. I don't like having my head squeezed. Well, on this occasion I'm not enjoying having my head squeezed. it may be that there are other occasions where head squeezing is exactly what I want. I'm just going to turn the volume down a touch. Is it making me shout? I don't know. Is it making me shout? Maybe it is. Little tiny little tuft of chickpeas in the corner. I think chickpeas and lentils pull in a pretty good price. Could have a look at the prices later. Prices also vary across the course of the year, and although we're not going to have seasonal changes, we are going to have month changes. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and plant a crop so that when I harvest it, it's at its peak price, which obviously isn't really the way that economics works. The price tends to be lower when the stuff is plentiful and more expensive when the stuff is rarer. But if I fix the game in such a way, I will try and produce crops that are then ripe and ready to sell at their peak price, which just generates money more rapidly. I mean, you can buy more land, you can buy more equipment. Now then, there is nothing this month that I'm going to be able to harvest with this machine. So in all likelihood, next month I shall have 2 fields of maize to harvest, and I will rent a machine for that. So I'm going to hop out of here, and I'm going to reset the harvester. This is the trailer. This is the device. This is the header. And then I am going to sell the lot. I'm going to service it first to make sure it's in peak condition. Get the maximum price I can. Oh, I haven't emptied it yet, have I? Oh no, that was a really big mistake. I forgot to empty it into the trailer. Oh no, that's a disaster. And you can see it's empty because I reset it. So that whole exercise of cutting that field was a complete and utter waste of time because I forgot to empty it into the trailer. So that I've only got a tiny number of what a pillock. I was so wrapped up in what I was doing that I failed to do what I was meant to do. That's a naughty. But I'm not going to reset the stream and delete everything in a fit of anxiety. I'm just going to say, oh well, it's all just bonus money really, because I don't really want any of it. Let's sell that. Let's repair that. Let's repaint it. £46,000 to repaint it. As long as I get more than £46,000 as a result. No, I didn't. So that's no good. Let's sell it. So I'm back up to £400,000 in the bank, which is very good. This tractor, we're going to go and take our chickpeas home. I don't quite know where I am. Chickpeas are going to go down here towards home. Try not to drive into any traffic markings. Is this where home is? It feels like it might be. I just drive in through the back through all these trees. This is my piggery. I'm going to get lots of little piggy wiggies because I like piggy wiggies, and we'll keep them there. And I shall produce lots of food to feed them with. So I'm going to tip this off, and then I'm going to sell it, and then I'm going to end, and we'll pick it up next time. So pretty exciting. Well, say pretty exciting. It's not Batman Arkham Knight or something, or Assassin's Creed 7. Oh, certain values of exciting, it's quite exciting. Now then, I'm going to keep the trailer actually. So another little thing to do is that I'm going to park the trailer, because I will keep the trailer because it's a nice trailer. I won't keep it for long. I've got some modded trailers that are ridiculously large, which I like. Ones that hold sort of 200,000 litres. But for now, that trailer is perfectly adequate. May as well just drive to the... Don't need to reset it. I'm really annoyed about resetting the combine before I'd emptied it. That is irritating. Quite like the fact that it's quieter when you're further away and noisier when you're close. That is quite a clever thing. Just going to whiz up here to the... There's the machinery dealer. Oh, don't run over any people. And here we go. I'm going to slot furiously into there. Woo, back up. Switch off. Hop out. A little bit of repair. Sell it for £200,000. Bosh. Job done. So I'm just going to hop back down to the farm. Well, I'm going to keep the chickens. I like that. There's chickens right here. That's nice. We'll have chickens. We'll have chickens, we'll have pigs. But essentially, we're going to be an arable farm. I'm going to grow crops. I may turn this into a silo and make some silage. In part, because with silage you can sell it for... silage you can sell to generate sort of biofuels and things of that sort. I don't know what I'm going to do with those two pipes. That is annoying. I may have to use the front end loader to move them, but I don't have a tractor at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to save. And I'm going to say a very good night to you all. Bye-bye.